All right, so looking at the last two questions that we are tasked to do it with our overview and goals. So now we have some unit rates, right? So we have 2 units that we're trying to convert to 2 other units, okay? And so if we're looking at number 24, we have 40 miles per minute, and we want to convert this to kilometers per second. All right, so 40 miles per minute, right? So we're going to want to use train track for this. You can use ratio and proportion. It's just usually it's pretty messy if you're not paying attention. With train track, it's pretty cut and dry when with canceling your units on what it is that you are converting. All right. So when we start this method, it doesn't matter which one of these units I want to attack first. Typically, it's easier to convert the time because we kind of know this right off the top of our head, right? So we can convert minutes to seconds by easily saying there's 1 minute for every 60 seconds. All right. And so next, we're going to go from miles to kilometers, right? And so can we figure out if there is a conversion from our conversion chart? So it's length, and yes, we already knew that 1 mile is 1.609 kilometers. All right, so when we come back over here, since our miles is in the top or the numerator, right? Our miles have to be here so that they can cancel. And we're going to get kilometers here, right? And we just said that 1.609 kilometers is a mile, or 1 mile equals 1 point, right? Doesn't matter how you say that. All right. And so now we can go ahead and cancel some units. Well, miles, because, and here's why we can cancel. Okay. So let me make sure you're understanding this. So this is basically saying 40 times 1 times 1.609, and I'm going to just put the units last, times a mile times a minute times a kilometer, right? Hopefully you're like, if you're not understanding why you're canceling when they're not next to each other or anything like that, it's just, through our commutative property of multiplication, we can kind of move this around any way we want, right? Because 4 times 3 is the same as 3 times 4. So as long as am going to do the multiplication, it doesn't matter what I multiply to what first. Okay, and so that's going to be over 1 times 60 times 1, right? And then I have a minute, I have a second, and I have a mile. All right, so remember, in fractions, if it's in a numerator and a denominator, you can cancel it. All right, so I mean, technically you can cancel the 1 if you want to. Okay, so now I'm going to just say 40 times 1.609, and I'm going to divide that by 60. And that's going to be kilometers per, here go that fraction bar, second, right? Kilometers per second, which just so happens to be what I'm looking for. Okay, so if I go to my calculator, we say 40 times 1.609 divided by 60, we get 1.073 kilometers per second, right? So this would be approximately 1.073 kilometers per second. All right, so hopefully we're able to follow that method and get number 31 knocked out. Okay, so looking at question 31, we're going cubic centimeters per hour to cubic inches per minute. Okay, and actually I want to do a different one simply because cubic centimeters convert right to cubic inches. If you come over here to your volumes, you see right there, 1 cubic inch is 16.387 cubic centimeters, right? So I want to find a question in which there is not a straight conversion, okay? And here go one right here. Nope, actually that wouldn't be one either. So I'm gonna make one up. How about that? So we're gonna convert, let's say, 27 milliliters per second, and we want to convert this. We want to convert this to ounces per hour. Okay, so we're going to convert our 27 milliliters per second to ounces per hour. Okay, so 31 you can still do, right? Because we know that both of those are straight conversions because we just saw. So we could have easily set this train track up. Okay, we just said that there's 16.387 cubic centimeters per cubic inch. And we're going to have 1 hour, right? And we know that 1 hour is 60 minutes. Okay. Cancel our units. Divide 1600 by the product of 16.387 times 60, right? That one's fairly simple because it's exactly what we just did on the previous question. Okay. This one I just kind of made up off the top of my head. This one's a little tougher simply because if you go over here to our conversion chart, you're not going to find in your volumes, you're not going to find milliliters to ounces. Now, a fluid ounce is not the same as an ounce. Okay, so don't think like, oh, well, a fluid ounce is going to give me an ounce. Okay, and actually that conversion, now that I just said that in my head, we wouldn't be able to convert that anyway. So let me change that to quarts. Okay, just so you guys can see how the train track works. So I'm going to change this to quarts. All right, so once again, the seconds to hours should be easy, right? Because there's 60 seconds per 1 minute, and there's 60 minutes per 1 hour. All right, and so now let's get the milliliters into quarts. Okay, so if we go back over here to our conversion chart, look down at our volumes. Okay, we can get the milliliters into fluid ounces, or we can convert our milliliters to liters and go straight to quarts. All right, so we can take our milliliters, convert our milliliters to fluid ounces, and then we can come over here to our fluid ounces and convert those to quarts, or we can take our milliliters, convert them to liters, and go straight to quarts. Right? So we're going to do them both so you guys can see how you slightly get approximately the same answer, but it will be slightly different. All right, so since milliliters is in the numerator, we know that 1,000 milliliters is going to give us 1 liter. Right? And so now since we're in liters, we can go back over to our conversion chart and we can see that 1 liter is 1.057 quarts. So 1 liter is 1.0, I think I said 75, 1.057 quarts. 1.057 quarts. Right? And so let's do some canceling of units. Milliliter with milliliter, liter with liter, minute, minute, second, second. You see all I have is quarts per hour, which is what I'm looking for. So if I go to my calculator, I want the product of 27 times 60 times 60 times 1.057, and then I'm going to divide that by just 1,000. All right, and so our solution is going to be 102.740 or 102.74 quarts per hour. All right, so 27 milliliters per second converts to 102.74 quarts per hour. Right now, there was another conversion. There was another way we could have went with this. Okay, and we could have took our per second. We could have took our milliliters into fluid ounces and then went from the fluid ounces to quarts. All right, and so had we done that, if we go over to our conversion chart, we see that 1 fluid ounce is 29.57 milliliters. So 29.57 milliliters is a fluid ounce. right? And then if we want to take our fluid ounces to quarts, you see that 30 over here, because that's US, right? So 1 quart is 32 fluid ounces. So we can go back over here. We can say 32 fluid ounces is going to give us a quart. All right, and then seconds. Well, 60 times 60 is 3,600. So 3,600 seconds is an hour, right? You don't have to go 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, because if you just multiply those together, 60 times 60 is 3,600. Therefore, 3,600 seconds is 1 hour, right? So now we can cancel our units. So milliliters with milliliters, fluid ounce with fluid ounce, seconds with seconds. All that's left is quarts per hour. That's what we're looking for. So if we go to our calculator, we would say 27. Let me use parentheses. We would say 27 times 3,600, and we're going to divide that by 29.57 times 32, and we're going to get a solution of 102.77, or I'm sorry, 102.722, right? So these are approximately the same. Your program would say, hey, we much rather do this than do that, because you know these are more applicable to whatever field we're in. But for this class, we will accept both of these answers. All right, so hopefully this has been very helpful for you as you continue to move through chapter 3.5. But like always, if you find yourself stuck in a rut, don't hesitate to reach out. Talk to you soon.